Hello friends and welcome to my studio. This is your girl Momo. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be honoring the healthcare workers who are the real heroes of this pandemic. Since the beginning of the pandemic, I have been spending my time, donating my time and my effort into making hundreds and hundreds of masks, giving and working with local charities to feed and support the healthcare workers who are working really hard in the hospitals right now. The cases are rising and there is no end to this pandemic in sight. If you have a healthcare worker in your life, you can make this super easy project for them. I promise you it's only about a half-hour project. In this video, we're going to be making a scrub cap. I'm using a pattern that I found on the interwebs. It is quite popular and a lot of people have made it. It is super easy to make and I chose this pattern because it is easy to follow. I'm going to show you step by step how to cut and sew the pattern. I hope you find this video very easy to follow. Please drop a comment below if you like this. You can make this project with half a yard of any cotton fabric. Cotton is good because it is washable. You can go to your Joann. A lot of fabrics are on sale right now. It's about under $5 a yard, so you can make 2 scrub caps from a yard of fabric. It is super cheap to make. Let's get into it. For this project, you will need half a yard of cotton fabric for each scrub cap. Choose your prints carefully. It's better to choose prints that are multi-directional. We'll talk about dealing with unidirectional prints when we get into cutting. Start by cutting out your pattern pieces. I'm linking the pattern link below so you can download it. Just print it out on regular paper on your printer and cut out the outlines. Remember that in this pattern, the seam allowance is included in the lines. For the body of the scrub cap, we are going to cut out one piece on the fold of this long shape. Since I'm making multiples, I'm stacking up my fabrics. And as you know, I'm a very anxious person, so I did cut out some seam allowance on the side in case I make mistakes. I trimmed it out later. Next, we're going to move on to the head piece. Again, I'm just stacking all the fabric pieces and I'm cutting it out. Since this is a multi-directional print, it doesn't matter which way I position the piece. I have a total of 2 yards of this dog fabric, so I'm going to just lay out and stack all the fabric pieces together, and I'm going to cut out 4 pieces out of it for the scrub caps. If you're stacking too many layers of fabric, I think it's a good idea to put some weight. I'm using these candles as the weight. Now I'm just going to pair the insides and the outsides of the scrub cap pieces together so that I have the pairs together when I go to my sewing machine. Next, I'm cutting out the head piece. I'm cutting out 4 pieces in total. Now let's for a second talk about the directional print. So at the time of buying this print, I did not realize that this anchor print fabric has all the anchors pointing in one direction. Now this is a problem because you can't have a pattern pointing one way on one part of the scrub cap and then the same pattern pointing another way on the other piece of the scrub cap. It all has to match together. This is a challenge because I did not buy with this point in mind and I don't have enough fabric for it. So I'm just going to cut out the bottom pieces from the anchor print fabric, and for the lining I'm using a plain print fabric. At this point you can see that there's a lot of fabric that's left over. We're going to make matching masks out of it, and that's going to be a bonus project for this video. For the mask, I'm not using any pattern in particular. I just had an N95 mask and I used that to cut out an outline on a piece of cardboard, and as you can see, I'm using that as my pattern for cutting out all the masks. To this pattern, I have added about a 1/4 inch of a seam allowance, and I think that's going to be more than enough. But I find that the N95 masks are the best fitting masks for all face shapes. So the designers have already put in the work, and I think it's a very ergonomic design. So why reinvent the wheel? For For my masks, I prefer that there should be at least 3 or 4 layers of fabric in each mask. So I'm cutting out 8 pieces for each mask. And I think I have enough material to do that. I'm utilizing all the corners, all the triangles, wherever it fits. I'm cutting out a mask shape. Before we start assembling the scrub cap pieces together on the sewing machine, be sure to mark and stitch the darts. These darts are placed right above the ears and they give the cap a nice shape around your head. Now we are ready to assemble the cap. For this, you're going to fold and mark the center point on the top piece and the side pieces, and you're going to start pinning from the center. You're going to match the center point of the side piece to the center point of the top piece and pin it together, and then you're going to use your fingers to pinch the two pieces of the fabric together and start placing pins until you go around the top part. Now we're going to stitch these pieces on the sewing machine and turn them inside out. As you can see that the shape of the cap is coming along nicely. For each cap you will make 2 pieces like this, one for the outside and one as the lining of the cap. Next, pin the outside and the lining together and stitch all around, except for leaving about a 3 to 4 inch gap wherever it's comfortable for you so you can turn it inside out. So you will start stitching from the middle, leaving a 3 inch gap. You will start going around and then all the way down to the straps, and then you will come back around and finish your stitching at the opening. Before we turn the cap inside out, I'm using a pinking shears to cut around the edges. This is going to make sure that the curves sit nicely. You can just notch your stitches around the curve as well. That works equally well. Now I'm going to turn the cap the right side out using my pen to push through and make the shape of these straps. Next, it's a good idea to press all the seams, and we're gonna go back to the sewing machine and do a top stitch all around. And this time when we come to the gap, we're just going to tuck it inside, hold the 2 pieces of the fabric together and just close that gap. The scrub cap is now ready, guys, and I think it looks wonderful. It's amazing. So one more feature that I would like to add at this point is adding some buttons on the side, so the person who wears it doesn't have to put the mask on their ear. They can put it on the button. This is an added feature for comfort, as doctors and nurses are wearing these masks and scrub caps all day long. For this, you can use regular buttons. I'm using these dog-shaped buttons that I found at Walmart for $1.50. Each pack has about 8 pieces in it, and I think those are sufficient. So I bought 2 packs, so I have 2 of each. I think they're so cute. I just love this part. Oh, look how cute that is. Oh, they even have a chihuahua in there. Oh my goodness. Okay, so to mark the position of the button, I just tied one cap to my own head and I just marked where I would like the buttons to go. And that's about it. Our scrub cap is ready. Let's move on to the mask. This is our bonus project, and unfortunately I lost the footage of the masks that I cut out in the video earlier. But not to worry, because I make masks all the time. So I have tons of footage of other masks that I'm making. This video, I'm going to show you how to make a mask which is the shape of N95 mask, so it's a universal fit for all shapes and sizes. and it has adjustable elastic loops. So we're going to start out with the front piece and the back piece of the mask together. For this, we are going to sandwich 2 layers for the right hand side, 2 layers for the left hand side. And we're going to stitch them in the middle. And when we turn it open, we are going to have one mask shape which is going to construct the front or the back. And we're going to have 2 layers of fabric on each side. We're going to push it open and we're going to stitch in the middle. This seam is going to add strength and beauty to your mask. Now we're going to hold the front and the back together and we're going to stitch on the top side. Next, we're going to add a nose stay piece. I'm using about 1.5 inches of a pipe cleaner. And I'm using the zigzag stitch on my sewing machine to just hold it in place. For the adjustable ear loops, I'm going to use about 6 inch or 7 inch long elastic. I'm going to stitch it in the sides one by one, 2 on each sides, and I'm going to leave them open for now. And I'm going to stitch around the mask and leave about a 2.5 inch opening so I can turn the mask the right side out. Now we're going to turn it out, give it a good press, and top stitch around it. I'm using the sharp end of the scissors to make the corners. Next, I'm going to top stitch around the mask and close the gap that I had left to turn it inside out when I was stitching. To make the adjustable ear loops, I'm using these cheap wooden beads that I found at Michael's on sale. I chose a smaller bead so that it is tight around the elastic and it pinches the elastic. I use a thin wire to pull the pieces of elastic through the hole of the bead. And just tie the elastic together and your mask is now ready. And I'll show you the scrub cap and the mask in just 1 second. If you like something from this video, please hit like and subscribe to my channel. I post videos every week and I try to make projects that are super easy for you to follow. If you don't yet follow me on Instagram, please follow me now. If you choose to make this project, please tag me on Instagram. I would be honored if you showed me how you made this. Thank you for watching and I'll see you guys.